Scituate Public Schools embarked on the MSBA process in May 2020 to evaluate the needs of the aging elementary schools in our district. After exhaustive work by our community, we proposed a new elementary school be built to consolidate Cushing and Hatherly schools and provide more capacity for pre-K. The Massachusetts School Building Authority accepted our proposal. MSBA is a state agency that accepts a limited number of applications through a highly competitive process each year to provide grants for the construction and renovation of public schools. By entering this process, Scituate stands to receive up to $35.8 million in state money to help pay for the new school's construction. That money reduces the cost to Scituate's taxpayers. For the past 16 months, we've updated our community on the feasibility study, preliminary design, and schematics of our plan. We're now at the project scope and budget approval phase of this project. In this video, we'll explain why our district needs to construct a new elementary school. We'll share how the proposed design of the new elementary school meets these needs. We'll lay out our plan for consolidating the two schools in a way that's least disruptive to our community and our students. We will provide detailed numbers on what the project will cost, what Scituate's share of the expense is, how we plan to finance this expense, and the impact it will have on our tax assessments. And we will explain what a yes and no vote mean for the project, which our district will present to our town's voters for approval at a special town meeting on April 29th and on the town election ballot on May 18th. Our district leaders sought MSBA funding for a new elementary school because both Hatherly and Cushing have reached the end of their useful lives. Here's how. Hatherly, opened in 1962, was identified by the MSBA as having the greatest needs of any of the elementary schools. Cushing is just 2 years younger, opened in 1964. They both have deficient site conditions with poor pavement, vehicle circulation, and drainage, deteriorating exteriors, including poor insulation, rotting windows, and leaky roofs, decaying 20-year-old modular classrooms which were meant to be temporary solutions, and aging interiors that are not fully accessible. Both schools would require total replacement or significant upgrades to basic systems like heating, ventilation, and electrical to remain in operation. Even with upgrades and repairs, neither Cushing nor Hatherly have the capacity to deliver the type of programming that grants our children an excellent educational experience for the next 60 years. That's central to how we've designed a single new school. We started with community input, an intensive visioning process with community members, parents, students, administrators, and teachers to imagine an innovative design that includes varied and flexible learning environments and avoids the antiquated one-size-fits-all model. This will serve a multi-tiered system of supports and students with diverse and individual needs. We stayed true to our strategic plan, creating a universal design for learning in our physical space with traditional classroom spaces and flexible breakout spaces. We also designed with the entire community in mind, a fully accessible space zoned into private and public spaces, improved Flannery Field, substantial gym space, and fully accessible playground, all with easy access and ample parking. We tied the indoor and outdoor spaces together with connections into 2 courtyards that will be used for developmentally appropriate learning. And we prioritized safety and our footprint on the neighborhood with separate secure entrances for pre-K and the elementary school, private and public zones in the building, and a traffic flow that will reduce impact in the surrounding neighborhood. By constructing a single new elementary school for 460 Cushing and Hatherly students and new space for 100 pre-K students, Scituate can take 2 aging buildings offline. Our goal to consolidate and redistrict 2 schools will be to smoothly acclimate children, families, teachers, and staff to the new building with minimal disruption. Here are the guiding principles we will follow while consolidating and redistricting Scituate for a new elementary school. We commit to an inclusive process, providing an opportunity for every voice to be heard through a series of community conversations about the redistricting process. Our goal is to minimize the social and emotional impact on our children, prioritizing keeping families together at one school. Should voters approve the plan to build a new elementary school, the discussion of the redistricting process will take place as early as fall 2024 to prepare for the opening of the school in fall 2027. Here's the project scope and budget for a new elementary school under the MSBA process. The total project budget is $119.4 million. This includes careful contingency planning for rising costs, demolition of the Cushing School, and infrastructure improvements. The MSBA would contribute up to $35.8 million to this budget, leaving about $83.6 million for Scituate to finance. You'll see that this number is very close to the cost that was estimated by our design team at the preferred schematic phase of this process last October. Here's how we propose to pay for it. A 25-year bond structured in a manner to save millions of dollars of interest over the life of repayment by paying equal amounts of principal each year. Using a conservative interest rate of 4.75%, that amounts to $866 of additional property taxes in the first year of repayment on a $921,000 home, the average single-family assessed home in Scituate. By year 25 of repayment, that tax impact is declined to $414 of additional taxes on the same valued home. We're presenting this financing to voters as a debt exclusion, meaning the tax increase is temporary. The tax amount declines each year and expires when the bond is repaid. This project's scope and budget now requires action by voters. This will take place on 2 key dates. At a special town meeting on April 29th, the project requires a 2/3 majority of town meeting attendees to approve. The project also appears as a ballot question at the town's election on May 18th and requires a simple majority of voters to move forward. The project must achieve a positive result at both the special town meeting and the ballot in order to move forward. If voters approve the project in the town election, the MSBA project team would move forward with final design of a new elementary school, then construction, with the goal of cutting the ribbon and occupying the new school in fall of 2027. If voters do not approve the project, Scituate Public Schools will need to address the repair and improvement of Cushing and Hatherly elementary schools through its regular capital improvement process. The MSBA's involvement would cease, and any future MSBA involvement on a future project would require the filing of a new statement of interest by the town. The cost of maintaining these 2 buildings would continue to rise and would require Scituate to divert maintenance money from other buildings. Renovation of the existing buildings for mechanical systems, structural needs, and current accessibility code requirements has a number of differences from the current MSBA process. 100% of these expenses would likely have to be paid with local tax dollars, as the educational needs of the district are not being met by this method. We estimate these expenses at $62 million in 2024 dollars, but we can only forecast the actual cost over the 6-year timeline we estimate the renovations would take. We believe the actual cost, by the time renovations would be completed in 2032, would be similar to Scituate's contribution toward a new elementary school under MSBA. Renovation would also take significantly longer, as the improvements would have to be made in phases using modular space, which would disrupt student learning. Nor would it solve any of the critical education space challenges present in both buildings or add needed pre-K capacity. The MSBA process is challenging, but we believe is the best way to achieve our mission of inspiring, supporting, and challenging all learners to reach their unique potential. Please take a moment to review more of the design plans, project renderings, and budget numbers of this project in the MSBA section of the Scituate Public Schools website.